My name is Winston Scurry. I'm from Winston-Salem, and my major is Management and Society. It's in the Sociology department. And in September, I will be going to Nicaragua for about 9 months.
Perfect. Okay, Winston. How has your idea of belonging changed over college, or before to
Yeah.
now?
Okay, so growing up, I always wanted to be one of the cool kids. So I always wanted to belong. That's what I think of when I think of the word belong. And I probably still wrestle with that, but I think it wasn't until college that I actually recognized what I was doing, that I had this deep longing for belonging. What was your original question about belonging?
How has your understanding changed?
How's my understanding changed? Yeah, okay, so I like I said, I didn't even recognize that, yeah, it was something I desired. And I think I've been seeking belonging this whole time, but I have, I guess shifted who I want to belong to.
That's good. So, in high school, in the beginning of college, what did that mean? Who were you looking to?
Yeah, it was the cool kids. So in high school, it was the kids that went to the I went to Mount Tabor my freshman, sophomore year of public high school, and so it was the kids in the grade above, and it was the guys that were good at soccer, and so they were popular, and they went to parties, and they were cool, and they had girlfriends, and I wanted them to think I was cool or funny or good at soccer. And then actually I switched high schools junior and senior year, and I kind of was that, I then was that guy, but it didn't change. I still had I was still chasing the exact same things, even though I was kind of there, if that makes sense.
Freshman year?
Freshman year, honestly, freshman year, and then sophomore year. I guess we'll talk about sophomore year in a second, but kind of same story. It wasn't until junior and senior year where I had kind of come out of a big moment, or it was a big transition period of my life that I would probably say I actually became a Christian. It's always hard to say when you became a Christian, at least for me. But yeah, after I became a Christian, I found belonging in. I'll try to avoid the Christianese phrases, but you can't not, I can't not call myself a child of God and someone who God created creation for me to enjoy and to so that he could see his image in me, and that he could that I could glorify him and be glorified through that. And let me try to tie this back to belonging. Yeah, I just being a Christian, having this real, tangible relationship with Jesus is very comforting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so tell me something that you learned the hard way. And how it shaped you.
Yeah, maybe going off high school and early college. I just I sought all the wrong things in all the wrong places. especially like end of high school, beginning of college, I've always like really wanted to please my parents. I think like that is like probably at the core of like all kids. Maybe, I mean, I guess some kids like to rebel, but I've like always wanted to really please my parents. I like want them to be proud of me. There's something to that. But like when I gained my independence and like came to college, I was able to, like I had the opportunity to like do whatever I wanted without them knowing. So it just gave me like a lot of, like all the freedom in the world to like choose what I would indulge in. And so, yeah, like I thought like alcohol would be an answer, just in that like it was like fun. But I don't know if I can say these things. Like drugs and alcohol was like a big part of my freshman year of college and sophomore year. And I think I kind of got to that point because can I just kind of tell like the Labrie?
Go for it. Like,
yeah.
Whatever you want to say, go for it.
All right.
And I'll just ask follow-ups if need be. But just
All right.
just
Perfect.
tell
Perfect.
me.
Perfect. Perfect.
I've heard you tell us before.
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. So like coming into freshman year, I gained like my, this independence from my family, and it's like, I get to choose like what I do with my life. And I come from this Christian family, but like it was all very, I don't know, it felt like formulaic almost, or just like more of a cultural thing. Like people talk about cultural Christians all the time. And so, and I'm like, I'm kind of crazy, and I like say yes to a lot of stuff. So I like started to say yes to drugs and alcohol because I thought it'd be fun, and like who doesn't want to have a fun time like in life? I think that is a good thing to like desire. But yeah, so I also was like, this is like an awkward time to bring this in, but I also like really struggled with some like not clinical depression, but I was like pretty depressed, just in that I was like, what is like the meaning of life? Like I drink one night and I like have a, what I like thought at the time to be like this great, fun night. And then I wake up the next morning and it's just like, this is so meaningless. I don't really want to like keep going through this. A lot of anxiety about like public speaking and like anxiety in school. And so with like the combination of all that, yeah, I guess I came to the conclusion that God wasn't real. Like there wasn't really someone out there like looking out for me. Man was not good, man, like man was evil. The world was, just like chance, and it wasn't good or bad. It was just nothing maybe. And so it was kind of like this positive feedback loop of depression and anxiety, like turning to drugs and alcohol, like making, life even worse, and so forth and so forth. And I realized that like life sucked, something needed to change. And so in the fall of my freshman year, when you're supposed to register for classes, I just didn't register for classes because I was like, I'm not coming back. Maybe I'll come back one day, but like I can't come back in the fall for my sophomore year. And a lot of people were like, Winston, that was so brave of you to, like know that you needed to like make that change. And like, I wish I could say, pat myself on the back and say like, yeah, that's true. It was more like I was miserable, and it was like a no-brainer that I like had to leave, you know what I mean? And so I ended up taking a semester off. My parents are like very supportive because they knew that I was kind of having a rough time. I didn't really tell them like about just like drinking a lot and smoking a lot, but yeah, they knew that I like was struggling mentally, and they were all for it, taking the semester off, but they said like you can't do, like you need to be very wise with if you're going to take this semester off. And somehow I came across this place called L'Abri. L'Abri is a, oh gosh, it's going to be so hard to explain. If anyone's watching this, they should probably just look it up. But L'Abri is in Switzerland, and it's kind of like a commune. It's like a work, study, like stay program. And so like half the day you're working to help, you know, like the community stay self-sufficient. So like maybe you're gardening, or maybe you're like helping out in the village, you know, helping out neighbors, like all like good work. And then the other half of the day is like you have time to kind of like reflect and study and workshop whatever you're there for. And so for me, it was, I'm gonna find out. It's Christian, you know, place. So for me, it was, I'm gonna find out. And they are like really open to, you know, you bring in honest questions. I was gonna figure out if God was real. Like I was gonna, you know, like reason through it, and I was gonna build this like logical argument, you know, this, yes, no, kind of like follow the, and then I was gonna arrive at an answer. And then I was gonna live the rest of my life based off of that answer, because I was kind of tired of like being in this in between. Like it was really, God is real, and I am going to like live my life for Him, or God is not real. And I guess it's kind of dark, but like it was either God is real or God is not real, and I'm probably gonna be like a hedonist and just like chase pleasure, and I'll probably like get tired of it and not make it past like 30 years old, because I'll just like get so sick and tired of it, and it'll be just be so meaningless, and I'll just like run out of energy and care for the world. So that I did not come out with an answer. It was like a very transformative 3 months, but I wasn't, it wasn't what I expected in that. It was just like, you know, a bunch of kind of like puzzles that I had to figure out to, you know, solve like why the world was, like why I was here, what's my purpose, what's my meaning. I was struggling with like very big existential questions. I get back, I mean, I'm like reflecting a lot on my life while I'm there, and one thing I realized is, or like one thing that, you know, like God really showed me was that when I get back, I need two things. I need to live with better guys, because the guys I lived with freshman year were just like, they were my friends since high school, but they weren't making me any better, and if they're not making me any better, they're probably making me worse. And so I was drinking with them, I was smoking with them, I was objectifying women with them, like it just not, you know, nothing about hanging out with them was healthy. And so I needed to find like a better living situation with Christian community, and I needed to hang out at the study center more, which I don't even need to describe what the study center is, probably. I'm not going to. And so those are the two things I knew I needed to do, and I didn't really do anything about it. You know, I kind of like made the plan and never really took action, or I just figured I'll figure that out when I get back to school, which like that's not how housing works. Everybody knows that. But I'm in Switzerland, and you know, I'm gonna be like a first semester sophomore getting back, and this senior guy calls me. It's Parker Mendenhall, and he asks if I'm coming back next semester and if I want to move in with him. And he lived in a house right off campus. It's like, I feel like it is like the coveted house in like got like male Christian community at UNC. And I had just been like offered to live there as a sophomore with a bunch of like, you know, really mature senior guys. And I actually like didn't understand what he was asking me at first. Like I couldn't comprehend that he was offering for me to go live with him. And so like eventually I understood like what was happening, and I was like, absolutely. you know, I would love to like live with you, split rent, you know, live there for the rest of the semester. And then another thing that did is it actually allowed me to stay there for the next 2 years. So like I'm graduating in a week and I've lived there for the past 2.5 years. And after that semester, like the lease turned over and 10, you know, really good Christian guys that I was familiar with but not super close with, they moved into the house. They would have like, they liked me, but they would have never, you know, said, hey Winston, do you want to come live in this house with me? But I got to stay, and so I now have like 10 best friends. They'll all be in my wedding. Like these are my best friends for life. They've had just like major influences on my life. And then the second thing, so that was just like God answering a prayer, God providing like a need for me. It was so God. I'm not like one to be like that, but it was just, yeah. The second thing is I needed to hang out at the study center more. Well, this house just so happens to be like here, and campus is here, and the study center is here. And so I've quite literally for the past 2.5 years had to pass the study center like every day, going from, you know, my first place, which is my home, to my second place, which is my work, which is school, which is campus. And every day I pass, you know, what is now like, I think Madison likes to use the concept of like a third place. Third places can be coffee shops, barber shops. They can be like maybe more detrimental places, and like the study center, you know, was that place for me, and I couldn't avoid it pretty much. Like it's just a perfect example of like not me chasing the Lord, but like the Lord chasing me. I've rambled way too long about that.
That was no, because like the way that you told that was perfect. Because
Okay.
It all flowed. Like that was better than you trying to break it up into questions.
Good. That's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did the breathe. Sick.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because you know, Connor's done it. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask a couple more questions just to follow up on all of those. So, first is the friendships. Like, what do friendships look like now? Like, what are the sweet habits and intentionality? Like, what are you intentional about to make those friendships? Like, these are now your best friends. Like, how did you get from not knowing them that well to now?
Yeah.
They're gonna be new.
There's just like a bunch of random things. The first thing, like when it comes to friendships and community, is Park Place. That's the house I live in. It's me and 10 other guys, and just naturally I'm closer with some more than others. It's easier to love some more than others. That's just life. And it, you know, for different people, it's different people. But yeah, I think that I'll just like name drop. I can't help but like name drop a couple people. Jackson Miller was in my suite my freshman year, and he was like amidst, you know, those guys that were really bad influences for me, and he was actually a really good example of being in the world and not of it. And yeah, Jackson, he never he never explicitly was like evangelizing me, but it's just the little things that people talk about that make a bigger difference. But like, he would always invite me to college life Bible study, and you know, that's how Parker got to know me and invited me to living in the house with him. So like, it's just really apparent how like God worked through that friendship, and then how he has continued to work through that friendship with like us just pursuing each other and trying to be intentional. Like, even if that's can I like pillow talk, as in at night, like before we're going to bed, you know, like, how was your day? Oh, like that sucks, tell me about it. Just like being there for each other. There is a lot of like silliness in a lot of my friendships, and I just think that's a really special thing. I don't have much more to say on that. Another thing I'll say is, when I think about friendships, I think about Sutton's Breakfast. there's been weeks where I will go to Sutton's more times than there are days in the week. Like, I really think maybe this was just once. But like, there was a week where I went Monday through Friday, and I went twice, like I went Thursday for lunch and breakfast. And it's not because the food's that good. The food is okay. The food's good. But it's not like go there every day. The reason I go there is because it's just a really special time to, like, a couple weeks before, text a guy, whether it's someone that's like mentoring you, someone that like y'all just kind of like mutually encourage each other in the faith and are there for each other, or it's someone that you're, mentoring in a way. And when I say that, I just mean like you're more spiritually mature and are able to kind of like you're like in a place to give the person advice, but at the same time, like, it's always mutual. But yes, it's a really special time just because it's one-on-one, it's face-to-face. Like, you can't get away from the person. You like, especially me, like, I like to lean in and, like, ask the questions. Those are some things I think about when I think about friendships here.
Okay, other habits, both quality of life habits and like faith habits. Like, what are some things that you have really grounded you?
Yeah. I would like be less quick to like distinguish between the two, just in that like my life is dictated by my faith, or like my trust, or my hope in like what is the truth and what is to come. And so maybe like some habits are more like overtly tied to like my worldview or like my perspective, but I think like all of my habits should be faith-based habits or faith habits. But like also I know what you mean. So like reading the Bible, I'm saying stuff that people have said for thousands of years, and like I've heard my whole life, and yet I don't do it, and like people don't do it. Reading my Bible, I mean, the best weeks of my college life are when I am getting up in the morning and I am reading my Bible and I am journaling, and the worst weeks of my college career are when I'm not doing any of those things. It's that simple. It has way less to do with like how many good things have happened to me that week or how many bad things have happened to me that week. I should like also add that there is no formula to like a quiet time. I'm still searching for like the right word for myself. People use quiet time, people use devotional, people use like personal Bible study. People like, I don't really know what it is for me. It's like, for me, it's sit down where like people aren't gonna bother me, because it's really hard for me to like hang out one-on-one with Jesus when like there's a person that I can actually see right there and they're like being funny. Time. I was saying like it's not formulaic. So like recently, I'll just say like what I've been doing. I have been this whole semester, I just keep coming back to it. I like will write down, obviously not every day. I'm so far from perfect. I'll go like, a week sometimes without pulling out my journal and my study Bible, and then like I'll go a month like straight, and I don't really keep track just because it's not like a check the box thing, but yeah, what I really like to do is write out the Lord's Prayer, like the words that Jesus gave us to say to God, to pray to God, and I've just absolutely loved it. And I kind of like riff off of, to use Andrew Bohr's word, like I'll like riff off of it, and I guess I won't go into what that means too much, just because the point is like like do whatever behind closed doors like brings you into, you know, like the reality that is that God is real and that like Jesus is king and that is like what life is all about. So that's just like the biggest faith habit is like, yeah, just like being honest with myself and with God. Exercise and eating is so important, and I'm not gonna act like I eat well. And I've met with Andrew Bohr for like 3 years now, and I've told him that, like, gluttony. I think gluttony is like one of my greatest vices. Behind like pride, which is just like the like root of all vices, and it's just horrible. Oh my gosh, we're so selfish creatures. But exercise is a good one because I like exercise a lot. In high school, like I was exercising a lot, and really freshman and sophomore year I was exercising a lot, and I'm still exercising a lot, but in like just a completely different way. My freshman and sophomore year, I couldn't run without like going as hard as I possibly could. And I guess it was maybe good for me at the time, but now I just like, and I was always posting on Strava because I genuinely wanted, to have like those low numbers on Strava and for people to see that, and it would take me minutes to come up with like a good caption. But now, like, it's probably been, oh, is it still good? I just kind of scratched it. I couldn't remember the last time I, like, logged a run or know, like, how far I've gone. I just will, like, put my shoes on, maybe stretch, and then just, like, jog around for a little bit, and maybe I walk because I decide I'm tired and it like would feel better for my body if I walk, and I like try not to care that there's a pretty girl over there and like I should be running so they see me running, and like I'm still too embarrassed to do this in front of people, but I enjoy like lifting weights and like doing sort like resistance training. But I really don't like the gym culture, and so, but I enjoy like the sensation or just like the exercise, and so sometimes I'll run and I'll like turn a corner and I'll like do 10 push-ups because it's healthy and it feels good, but like obviously it's like a little weird just to do push-ups in the middle of the road. But yeah, exercise. I mean, Andrew Bohr, he's kind of the expert I feel like these days on what does faithful exercise look like. But yeah, exercise in itself is really important, and then how you do it is, how you approach it is really important. I don't even know if I answered the question.
Okay. And I really like your answers because I think that the temptation when people sit down for these interviews is to like give the best case scenario and make it sound like they have it all. Like when I sit in front of the camera, like I want to give my best case scenario, and I think that your honesty is like what is really like it is really you, and you're being honest if these are things that like you do and not perfectly, which is true of all of us. We all just try to make it sound better than we actually do it, and I think it's encouraging for me to hear, and it's encouraging for like people to hear, especially freshmen coming in and being like, wait, I don't have to have it perfectly. Like I think that.
I'm becoming more honest as the conversation goes on. Whether for better or for worse, my tongue is loosening up.
All right, last major question. What are you passionate about?
Winston-Salem. Yeah, my hometown. Growing up, like people would ask, are you gonna move back? And I would always be like, no, there's a whole world out there. Why would I spend, the rest of my life in like the one city that I've already like experienced? And like my thoughts on that could couldn't be any different. Couldn't be farther. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's my home, and I like just through Wilberforce at the Study Center and thinking about like faith and vocation and just like how we are called to work, and we are, you know, called to do good work. And I really like the parable of the talents. Maybe this is like a wrong interpretation, but like we are called to, you know, like take the talents God has given. I know it's a different word, but like we're supposed to take the talents that God has given us and like go do something with that so that we can like, you know, come back and he can say, well done, good and faithful servant. I have given you little, you have made much more of it. And like when I think of my talents, I think of like, I just have this, I can't explain it, but like a passion, a love for my, my hometown. And I also just like really love people, and I care about people. I also just like, maybe emotional is the right word. Like I get emotional about like people who don't have it so good, like people living in poverty, and especially like in my hometown. And so I am open to doing whatever God wants me to do. But I have like this sense that I'm being called to go back to Winston-Salem and like somehow foster, you know, amidst like a lot of economic growth that is probably like coming in North Carolina into Winston-Salem, making sure that, you know, like everybody experiences that, and building community in Winston-Salem.
Perfect.
I love Winston-Salem. I love North Carolina. I love geography.
Okay, last question. What is the characteristic of God that you have learned the most about or seen the most about?
I'll say one just because I think people don't talk about it enough. Like, he's funny. He's fun and he's funny. But I don't have too much more to say on that. Maybe another thing I'll say is he is faithful, but I should also add, because I think I feel like a lot of people almost like dismiss like his faithfulness and his steadfastness because they are impatient. And so like I have seen, you know, like God be so faithful and steadfast in my life, but also he's pretty slow, at least relative to like my thinking. You know, by no means am I saying that God is slow, but like I can't help but like think he is really slow. And so yeah, like which just points out a flaw in me, like my impatience. You know, I trust that, like, you know, that like his is the kingdom and the power and the glory, and that like, you know, there is a like fully restored, consummated creation, you know, to come. But it's really like hard to like remind myself that every day, because it feels like it's like, you know, the kingdom is being furthered so slowly. So that would be my answer.
Do you want to ask your question?
Favorite memory from Park Place?
Favorite memory from Park Place? Oh man, there's this isn't necessarily Park Place, but the first thing that's coming to mind is TK and he lived in Park Place. I don't even know if he was living at Park Place at the time, but one time at 2:30 a.m. we decided to go run 15 miles. And it was electric. We ran all the way down Jones Ferry through Carborough and just had the best run ever.